It's a gentleman by the name of Steve Nison, N-I-S-O-N, that wrote a book called The Candlestick Method, which is about a form of charting that I'd like to share a summary to you of, and why you either should or should not read this book. It'll be an interesting commentary. We recommend this in our core book library in OEX and Blue Chip Options because it's a great book. Candlestick charting is effectively a form of point and figure charting. It's a supply and demand based charting that was originally invented thousands of years ago in Japan by rice traders. Rice was actually traded back in Japan thousands of years ago as an option. People would start to price out their rice paddies and sell it to someone as they were continuing to fulfill their harvest. The original option trading is food trading that goes on to this day with corn, oil, etc. What the candlestick method was is some ancient Japanese that made up about 50 symbols that show where supply and demand is. And each of these symbols, they all have Japanese names like doji or emerging star, etc., will show you in a chart where the chartist sees the last move. They're thusly lagging indicators. However, they're very visual by nature. And to many traders, a candlestick is an effective way to day trade or to see the market. Of all the candlestick courses and books that are out there, Mr. Nison, N-I-S-O-N, I think is the most affordably logical book, easy to understand. But I'll give you some caveats and concerns. Most traders that I see that study candlestick charting never study it long enough to get good at it. They study it long enough to learn 10 or 11 of the major symbols, charting symbols to know when a market's going to move. Then they miss the rest, or they don't know the nuances of it. So here's my recommendation to you. If you're a good chartist, technically proficient, and you enjoy technically charting, use candlesticks for the value that they have only if you study them and learn each one of the charting symbols and become expert in it. If you're deciding to use it just as a casual foray into having another tool to trade the market, be extremely prudent and cautious. I find that most traders that use candlesticks with me in our services miss half of the signal because they're interpreting. A point and figure chart, as an exception and a reverse, does not do that. You can't argue the facts of when the market moves up or down. It's a simple X or an O. So my recommendation on the candlestick method is, if you'd like to understand it, read the book like a student. Don't read the book as if you're on vacation and just browsing through it like a murder mystery. Read it like a student. Study it. Study the charts online with any of the online brokerages so that you can begin seeing candlestick charting. And if you utilize it, only utilize it. Don't utilize it and point and figure charting. Don't utilize it with bar charting or graphs. Stick with one methodology. So for those of you that would like to learn the candlestick method, that's the name of the book, and it's a great one for those of you that want to understand this ancient Japanese methodology.